It's really not a matter of us limiting the access. I mean, they don't have the authority.
Well, they don't have the authority to make a decision, but they should have the authority.
Well, they don't.
They won't have any authority. but
But they shouldn't have access to personnel files or things of that.
Correct.
There should be generic budget information.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the, I'm not concerned about these small details because it's going to be governed by, 2 members of the township committee. It's not like we're not represented there and this advisory committee is going to go off on its own and do whatever it feels like. I mean, there's going to be guidance, and the 2 members of the township committee will be working with us here in the township committee, of course, to focus the attention of the committee on the matters that will help us through this budget process.
And 3 of the nominated members, or at least 3, were former members of
That's
the
right.
committee.
It's exactly right. So these people already have plenty of experience in doing this budgeting. Well, I'll entertain a motion. Well, I should say, I'll make the motion. I'd like to start off by nominating the people that I've already nominated: Peter O'Neill, Walter Sadowski, Lynn Combs, Chris Connor, Lisa Lazar, and Bill Smullen to be members of that committee.
I think we basically have to do an up and down vote on everybody, or
No, I'll
many
take that
members?
as a group.
That'd be
That's
great.
the group taking
I'll
as
second that.
second.
And if you're opposed to anyone in the group,
Right.
vote no.
Roll call?
Mr. Aronio,
Yes.
Mr. Briggs,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
No.
Ms. Genovese,
No.
Mayor Vitarera.
Yes.
Passes 3-2.
So
I'd like to nominate Carl Schlegel and Tom Bear.
Second.
Make a motion.
any discussion?
I guess the only discussion I have is that we never, it seems to be, it's not the voting that's 3-2, it's that we seem to be divided about who's going to be representing the town, and we seem to be having it from one perspective, and that concerns
The
me.
discussion's on the motion.
That's
Okay.
part of the motion. That's part of my discussion.
They decided who represents the town, and that's the way it is right now.
Yeah. So can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Aronio,
What am I voting on? I'm sorry.
It's-
the motion on the floor is to appoint Mr. Schlegel and Mr. Bear onto the same committee.
No.
Mr. Briggs,
No.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Ms. Genovese.
Yes.
Mayor Vitarera.
No. The only thing left on that is to pick the township representatives. Anybody would, I know, I already nominated Jerry.
We've already discussed that. I mean, we don't really need to do that out
Anybody
here,
else
right?
interested? Chris, you're going
Yes.
to, any objection to Chris doing it? Good, then we don't need a motion for that, right?
No.
It could be Chris and
Yeah,
Jerry.
you can have a consensus with
Great.
your own representatives.
Everybody in agreement then? Okay, good. The next one is the Communication Advisory Committee. And I'd like to nominate as a group Mike Smargiassi, Chris Apuzzo, Bruce Maringolo, and Dennis Sandow to that committee. And we could take the township representatives later.
And I also want to add, we had enough people, I think we had some extras in there.
Did you have somebody
Yeah,
else?
Archer Rosenblum.
And I would like to nominate Larry Fast to that committee because he's the webmaster. But I have to voice my concerns now about the appointment of Dennis
Wait,
Sandow
before
to
we
this
talk,
committee.
there's no second to my motion. Is there a second to the motion?
The motion on the floor does not include Archer Rosenblum at this time.
That's correct.
Second.
All right, now we can discuss that.
I would like to voice my concerns about Dennis Sandow at this time. I'd like to read from the McGovern report. It says here, in July of 2003, the chief received an email from a man upset about his
Well, hold on a
son's
second.
arrest. Yes.
Before we go on, Jack, I think we talked a little bit about whether we could discuss in public, personnel matters. And I certainly believe that, volunteer employees, deserve certainly the same rights that any regular employee might have? And wouldn't a regular employee be permitted the protections from discussions about his
Yeah,
position?
I think discussions of details of somebody's performance should be discussed in executive session.
Okay.
I think a member of the township committee can state that I'm opposed to this appointment based on the investigation that was previously
Okay.
conducted.
Jack, is this not a public document that I'm reading from? I can't read from a public document?
Well, I think that document should be redacted to exclude, confidential privileged matter that it relates to employees. Isn't that right, Jack?
Well,
This is a public document, though, it wasn't redacted.
it's already been disclosed to the public, but I still think discussions of the details of it should be in closed session.
Okay.
As I say, I think you can certainly say, based on the contents of that report, you oppose
Then
Mr.
that's how we'll handle
Sandow's
it.
appointment.
So you're saying, Jack, that I should surmise this then? I mean, I should just make a summary?
I think he said that you could oppose the motion based on your concern about the contents of the report, but the details have to be discussed in private session.
Correct.
So that's your ruling, Jack?
Yes.
Okay, can I talk about a dismissal as webmaster?
You can talk about the fact that he was previously dismissed, but I don't think the reasons for that dismissal ought to be, the details of that dismissal ought to be, because I'm not even sure
Okay, so
those certainly aren't in the public record, to my knowledge.
In other
I
words,
think-
any employee that, had this happen is entitled to certain rights, and we shouldn't treat our volunteers any differently.
I think when Mr. Sandow was terminated as webmaster, I think all those discussions were in closed session. I don't
Right.
think they've ever been
Right.
made public. I think that's a clearer case than the McGovern report.
So if a member of the public here has a McGovern report and wants to come up to the podium and say something from it, they're not allowed to?
Oh, I can't stop a member.
Right.
Member of the public can say whatever they want. I just think from the township committee's perspective, I just don't want us to get sued. And it's not just this case, as I said earlier. I think, township committee has to be careful. Whereas a member of the public, that's their prerogative to say whatever they want.
Right.
So I can cite that he was dismissed from webmaster here,
Yes.
webmaster from the library.
Yes.
And
Certainly. I mean, that's part of the public
I
record,
have
for sure.
good indication that he's read some emails of mine. I can say that. And then I
See
I
now,
feel like-
hold on a second, stop,
I-
stop, okay? That's exactly where you're crossing the line, and you're subjecting us to litigation, okay? So please refrain from those kind of comments.
I don't think it's in the benefit of Long Hill Township for Mr. Sandow to be on the communications committee because of prior activities.
Any other comments? Okay, why don't we take a roll call then, please?
So actually, I do have some comments. We still have open seats. Why are we not adding people
We're going
that
to-
I've suggested?
We're going to make the motion, or you make the motion right afterwards.
But why is it not in the same motion? I'm
Because I've
confused
made
about
my
that.
motion as a group.
Why can't it be amended? Is there a reason?
Make a motion,
I make a motion to amend your motion.
okay? Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Aronio,
Yes.
Mr. Briggs,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
What am I voting on?
Yeah,
This
what
is to amend his motion.
Yes.
This is to amend Mr. Vittorera's motion to add the additional people to Mr. Collins?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, I
wasn't
let's,
clear either, that's why.
Did you guys-
He made the motion.
did you guys understand what we're voting on,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Okay, good. So finish the roll call.
I'm sorry, I was up to Mr.
Collins voted yes.
Collins, Ms. Genovese,
Yes.
Mayor Vitorera.
Yes. So then now, voting on the main motion?
Which includes all of the people that both of you have named.
Arthur and Larry.
Correct.
Larry
Right.
Fast.
Okay. I just want to clear.
Go ahead.
Mr. Aronio,
Yes.
Mr. Briggs.
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Genovese,
So this means I'm voting on everyone?
That's the way I understand it. That, for the record, yes, you're voting on everyone.
I have to vote no.
Mayor Vitorera.
Yes.